Hey guys, welcome to another video on the beta hunt. So today we're going to be looking at a very spooky game. So yeah, happy Halloween or late happy Halloween. Sorry that this video wasn't released before Halloween. I was suffering from a cold / flu, so it was really getting me down. I couldn't do my recordings or do any voiceovers because I was just coughing all the time. I still have a little bit of a cough now, but anyway. So, what game are we going to be looking at today? Today we're going to be looking at Area 51. Now, Area 51 I have a bit of interest in from my childhood because I remember looking at a gameplay demo of this game years ago when I was younger, and I thought to myself, wow, this game looks amazing, but it was also very scary as well. So yeah, I recently started playing this and I thought, yo, let's make a video of it, and I realized that there is actually a demo of this game on Jam Pack Volume 11 for the PS2, and the differences compared to the demo to the final build is very different, so we'll be getting to that straight away. So anyway, so what is Area 51? So Area 51 is a game made by Midway Games. Area 51 takes us into the story where we have to survive massive onslaughts of aliens, become an alien ourselves, and uncover the dark secret of what lies in the hidden facility underneath Area 51 itself. Even though this game is nowhere similar to the 1995 light gun game, also known as Area 51, it does have a loose relation to the PS2 title. Maybe that might be a game I might cover in the future, but it being a light gun game, I can imagine it probably really doesn't have that many differences. Anyway, like I said, I don't really remember much about this game in my childhood, but like I did say, I do remember it from a gameplay demo that I saw on a PS2 demo disc, and it was just awesome to look at, and I thought, yo, this game looks sick. And this is at the time when I was playing with Time Splitters, so what could beat Time Splitters? Anyway, so what's going to be really different about this demo that I'm going to be looking at is this demo is very, very sloppy. It was definitely rushed to get out and to put onto these demo discs, because I don't think this is the only demo disc it's on. I think there's a few it's on, but yeah, it's very sloppy. There's a few areas where you can get soft locked. There's a few areas where you can completely block spawns from enemies. But there are big changes in terms of the models, weapons, and even some of the layout changes of the level as well that we are going to be playing on. But enough bullshit, let's actually get into the gameplay. So as we first start off with the demo, we see that the cutscene where your team is talking about losing McCann, one of your team members. What's really strange about this is that this is actually at the start of the level of the demo you play on. But in the final cut of the game, you talking about losing McCann is actually at the end of the level prior. So for some reason they decided to change that up for some reason. I'm not quite sure why, but I guess it just adds a bit of story to the demo as to why you're playing, I suppose, or what situation you're in. It kind of gives you that kind of push to move forward.
Command, we've got a serious situation. McCann is down. Repeat, McCann is down. We have hostiles of an unknown nature. They don't appear to be human. Requesting permission to return to insertion point and regroup.
Your insertion point has been compromised. There is no going back. You need to keep moving.
Roger that, Command. Bravo, out.
Command, McCann is down. Request permission to evac.
Captain, you must proceed with your objective.
That's bullshit! McCann's dead! Did you miss that part? Crispy!
Your insertion point has been overrun. There is no going back. You need to keep moving.
Roger that, Command. Bravo,
What
out.
the hell?
We can also hear that the voice actors are different between the two. The final cut having almost more emotion for their voices compared to the demos. When we do start the level and we start playing it, we see that the soldiers that we fight alongside are looking a lot different compared to the final cut. In the final cut, we see that they are wearing army uniforms but with berets, but in this demo version, you can see that all the soldiers that we come across in this game are gas mask suited up soldiers. But what's really interesting about these gas mask soldiers is that you do see them in the final cut back at the very start of the game. but obviously in the final, but in this demo, they're all these gas mask soldiers. So I have a feeling that at this time the beret soldiers were not made or introduced at this time, so that makes a bit more sense. The small difference that we see when we see the two soldiers getting blown up by a grenade that's thrown in the demo is that there's a large door that opens up into the hallway where we'd fight our first wave of aliens, but in the final cut you go down a small hallway on the left, which then leads into the big hallway that has all the aliens. As we get into the big hallway in the demo, we don't do the objectives like we do in the final cut. Instead, we can either follow our team or stand there with the two soldiers and wait for our team to get to the door that we need to be opening, whilst fighting off waves and waves of enemies. Speaking of the aliens though, the models for the aliens that we are fighting are different compared to the final build. Take a look and you'll see what I mean. I've also noticed that the lab coat enemies or aliens one, like the military aliens as well, unlike in the final build where the lab coat aliens actually kind of hobble. So I don't know why they changed that, maybe to kind of add a bit more difficulty, maybe? Not quite sure. The weapons in the game, in the demo version anyway, had differences. One of the major differences for the weapons is the pistol itself. In the demo it's a Desert Eagle, compared to the final build where it's just a standard pistol with a sight on it. The SMG has small differences, but honestly nothing major. The shotgun and sniper are pretty much the same. One of the biggest differences in terms of the equipment that the player does not have in this demo build is the scanner used to scan items throughout the mission or the missions that you would play in the final cut. These kind of add like little backstories or little logs that you would read in like one of your like options in the menu. There'd be like reports and like shit that's going on, audio logs and whatever. So I'm presuming at this time the scanner wasn't implemented in this demo, but it's very interesting to see that there wasn't even a scanner at this point, so that's very, very cool to see. The HUD between the two builds are also different health bars, icons, are just a general difference altogether. Naturally, the demo version, the earlier version of the game, having a rather early looking HUD compared to the final build, which is really standard with a lot of the first-person shooters, especially when they're going through their development stages. When I was mentioning about the demo being quite sloppy, you can tell this demo was rushed a bit, as there are some really obvious enemy spawn points you can camp, and also some areas where you can block the enemies from spawning altogether. There are also hallways and rooms you can go into on the demo, which you can find in the final build too, but there is no need to go into these rooms in the demo build at all. Now, in most first-person shooter demos that I've played, if you were to play the final build of that game, obviously most, if not all, the areas that are supposed to be open would be open, but in the demo part of their games they'd kind of close areas off that weren't needed, so like secondary objectives and stuff like that. But in this game, for some reason on the demo, most of the areas are open, so you can go to them, and this can cause issues because you can get soft locked. If you take a look at the footage that I'm showing now, you can tell that I'm blocked against this door. I can't get out, and that is because it actually was open. I got in and then it locked, and it is an area that you have to go to in the final build, but in the demo you can go into it, but there's no need to, so it's very strange. After some time, when we finish the first wave of the enemies in the first hallway, we can hear that the soldiers also have different voice actors too.
My crew is keeping this area secure, but if you need it, we'll provide covering fire while you're moving forward.
Thank God. You showed up just in time.
Sergeant, have you seen another hazmat crew down here?
Yeah, you're headed in the right direction. My team's orders are to secure this area. We'll cover your 6.
Thanks for the assist. Okay, moving out!
Moving into the area where we've seen the green containers with the small aliens in them, Crispy does not mention about the trails of green goo going out into the next hallway.
Sir, you might want to take a look at these jars. Don't let it move it, Crispy. But sir, I think those are tracks. Keep moving, Crispy. Roger that.
As we leave that room and out into the next hallway, we meet the next two soldiers. Yet again, we see there are more generic soldiers and no beret soldiers, and that the voice actors are a lot different as well. Now, the fight in this hallway is very similar to the final build, including the part where the parasite-looking bastards come from the ceiling.
God, the ceiling's full of those things! Hey, Doc, they're coming for us!
But what I found really interesting about this area in this demo is that when you compare it to the areas where you go to and places that you need to go to advance the mission forward in the final build, you can also go to these areas too. So like I said, you can go to these areas in the demo that you don't need to, but you can. It's really weird, really strange. It's kind of cool that they left these areas, but at the same time it just kind of causes a little like form of laziness and kind of sloppy in a way. After you do fight the parasites though, there really isn't that much to look at. For me, it's interesting and yet again to see even the smallest differences in a demo that can be massive compared to the final build. From seeing that weapon differences and the room layouts and how they look different, it's very unique. I personally would love to play a actual proper build of this version. I think it'd be kind of cool and see what different objects there were and how different it is and so on. There is a prototype of this game on Hidden Palace, but sadly it's a lot more advanced in its development. It really doesn't have any much differences compared to the final cut of the game. But I did spend a lot of time researching a lot of the really early footage of this game, especially with like the gameplay trailers and the E3 footage that you can come across as well on YouTube, especially with like IGN's footage, which is really helpful. So thank you, IGN, for keeping that stuff up on your old channel. But basically there are some big major differences in this E3 footage. One of the biggest differences is that you can actually look around and play about in the elevator at the start of the game like you do in the final cut. In the final cut, when you get into the elevator, it's just a cutscene and you can see all the chaos going on. But in the E3 footage, you actually are playing the game and you can see all this stuff happening, and it's insane. It's really cool. But what's also different as well is that there actually are more scientists you come across in the E3 footage. There's also very early weapons as well, which is really cool. There's early HUD. There's just early everything. It's really cool, and honestly it's amazing to see. One of the biggest differences that you will see is the SMG. The SMG actually went through quite a few stages of development, and I even think there's a weapon that you don't actually see at all in the final cut. But basically that's really it. There are other differences, like with the demo there isn't any dead beret soldiers like you see in the final cut. When you die in the demo build, you flop like a ragdoll, but in the final cut there's actually a cutscene where you see your body kind of land on the floor with your hand in front of the screen. There's a lot of small differences here and there, and honestly it's really cool to see. But yeah, I'd love to get my hands on an E3 build if I could. I'd love to see whenever that will ever come across, but the thing is, Area 51 isn't that much of a popular game, so I can't imagine it be a thing later on down the line. Maybe in the far future, but I can't think of it being in the near future where we will see an E3 build. If there will be, I'd love to play it and just see what the differences are. But anyway guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This has been a really fun video to actually do. It's very different compared to a lot of the things I have done, and I'm really happy I've managed to kind of get my hands dirty on this game and actually compare the differences to a demo build. It's interesting because you really don't think there will be that much differences in terms of a demo build compared to its final counterpart, but you'd be surprised. There are a lot of differences. If you really look carefully and really go through it with a fine-tooth pick, you can really find the differences, and that's what I love doing. I love finding stuff like this. But anyway, you guys take it easy. Thanks for watching. Check out my other videos. I've got videos on many other games, and also check out my main channel as well if you want to, and check out my Twitch channel as well. Sometimes I do demo analysis on there, but also I do streams on this channel as well every now and then, so please check it out. I'll see you guys there. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.